The things that would bother me if I was a Jets fan would be this, as if I'm not already bothered enough by how this season is played out. Really? Adam Gase, we're pulling out the trick plays? Week 16? Nowhere in the first 13 losses when maybe there was a shred of possibility that this team could have been competitive. Hell, you lost 3 games by a score. We couldn't get the creativity there. Then you got the head buried in the playbook. But now all of a sudden, look at this team. Oh, my God, it's Jamison Crowder. And look, he's been passing the ball to Braxton Berrios. And they're wide open. And here we go with a touchdown. Like, number one, that would bother me. That would bother me a lot because, Gase is not here for the long haul. And you were supposed to be the genius. But, we didn't see any evidence of that through the first year and 3 quarters. And now all of a sudden we're pulling out the big stuff. That would bother me.
Beautiful pass from Crowder to Berrios.
Hey, he said he's an athlete, man. And he proved it.
I love Crowder.
Over the last 2 games, I'm still at where I'm at with Darnold. Nothing that he did in these last 2 games makes me think, wow, the Jets really are sleeping on a giant here. They really are. It's just a couple tweaks here and there, and he's going to be he'll be the next, I don't know, who does Sam get comped to?
Tannehill?
Okay, fine. Tannehill putting on the Jets last night, scoring a touchdown. But anyway,
sure.
I don't get that from him. I'm still not getting that after 2 weeks. I still believe that the Jets have this massive decision to make. Well, 2, to be honest. You got to figure out what the coach is going to be. And then you got to figure out whether Darnold is actually an upgrade over any of the guys in the draft. Because I think to myself, do I watch that game yesterday and think that Darnold is an elite quarterback? No. Do I think that he has the ability to put the team on his back and raise them up and all of this? Still no. So to me, I think the Jets, despite the fact that they are on a 2-game winning streak.
So you're at a 5-9. You're at a 5-9.
I'm at a 5-7.
He's just a guy.
I'm at the 5-9 is the Belichick excellence.
I know that's the point. That's the
I'm at a
Lombardi
5-7
quote from last week, right? Yeah, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Yeah, 6'7", 6'8", 6'8", 6'9" is a special player. 6'7" to 5'9" as a quarterback.
Well, you can tell I obviously have a real grasp on this, but
right, an average guy, right?
I think that he's still. I think you still have the same. You are still making the same decisions, and you have the same questions staring you in the face after 2 wins as you did a month ago.
You want to look at Sam Darnold and say, I've not seen enough, or I've seen more than enough to show me that he's not the guy? I think you can easily make that discussion and have that argument, and you could have valid points that back you up. I think you could also rationalize it out and say, well, he's not been handled well, because he hasn't been handled well here with the Jets. But is he going to be a product of the players around him, or is he going to be able to rise above? You've clearly seen him not be able to rise above. So if that's going to be the clear point that he is not a franchise quarterback, then you probably in year 3 have seen enough. Now the question is, do you believe in Fields or Wilson or Trey Lance and say those are one of those guys is going to be the guy? You don't want to force it. If you don't believe one of those guys and you're Joe Douglas, you're not going to be drafting one of those guys with the 2nd overall selection. That's not going to be happening if you're the Jets, nor should it happen. You can't force another quarterback if you don't believe in that quarterback. And really, for all intents and purposes, Joe Douglas is the only one that can answer it. The thing that drove me crazy was, listen, give the Jets credit, those players credit. You mentioned the defense was on point. They played a clean game. Darnold did. Offensively, they showed you some trickeration. Great. Crowder to Berrios and for the touchdown. How about the Lock and 4 report on Saturday saying that if the Jets lose to the Browns on Sunday, that Adam Gase could be out as head coach on Monday? I mean, what's the point? I mean, maybe the point being is that they've changed the rules of interviewing and Joe Douglas wants to get ahead of the schedule. I mean, maybe that's the reason. What's the point of firing Adam Gase now after the victory last week in Los Angeles? If you weren't going to fire him months ago, what would be the point of firing should they lose week 16, game 15 against the Cleveland Browns? That didn't make much sense. And the other thing, think about this for a second. The Jets win their last 2 games, right, and have dealt massive blows to the Rams and the Cleveland Browns. So the Los Angeles Rams right now, they lose yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks. In the game, Jared Goff, when making a throw, banged his thumb on a Seahawk defensive lineman's helmet. He popped his finger back into place. There's reports out of Los Angeles. They feel that Jared Goff has broken his thumb. But with that, think about this for a second. The Los Angeles Rams going into Week 15, according to analytics, had a 99.9% chance of making it to the playoffs. 99.9% chance of making it to the playoffs. We know they lost last week to the Jets. We know they lost yesterday to the Seattle Seahawks. And now those percentages have obviously taken a precipitous drop. Then you look at the Cleveland Browns yesterday. We can make the debate of whether or not that game should have been played.
Right.
They are on the ascent, right? They're playing well. Mayfield has turned a corner. Everyone throwing the bouquets, myself included. Stefanski, the job he's done. They lose a game at the Meadowlands. At MetLife, I should say, to the Jets yesterday, where now they have put themselves, in a point here where they are not a lock to make it to the postseason in the AFC, even with all the good vibes and what they've done here offensively and the growth and the. Think about that. The Jets, the last 2 weeks, they've generated 2 wins against 2 teams that looked like they were ready to punch their tickets for the postseason. The Rams are gasping for air. They don't even know if they'll have Goff because they feel like he broke his thumb yesterday afternoon. And you look at the Cleveland Browns, all the accolades we threw, in a game in which the Jets don't have Quinnen Williams, you have Baker Mayfield throw the ball 50-plus times yesterday afternoon at MetLife Stadium without his top 4 wide receivers.
Moose, if this was an attempt to make the Jet fan feel better about winning those 2 games and losing out on Trevor Lawrence, I don't think it's going to make them feel better.
Amazing.
Here's the thing, though, about the Gase and the report about him being fired if they had lost to the Browns. Okay. So if they're going to change the rules that you can now interview head coaches, and let's just get a start on this because it's over Zoom anyway, and what's the point? Yeah, you didn't need Week 16 for cause. They lost 13 games in a row.
That's why the report made
That's enough. That's enough to fire Gase whenever you please. Whether they beat the Browns 23-16, whether they had lost, whether they had tied, it doesn't matter. You lost 13 games in a row. The franchise can fire you whenever they feel like it. They just aren't firing you because nobody knows why now. Now that they've changed the rules, they absolutely should have fired Gase.
Oh, they should have.
If you
Get a
can't,
jump start, he's not the answer.
he's not the answer. And also, you and I were like, well, why would they fire him if you're not going to get a head start and you're only going to back channel these conversations? Now that these conversations are out in the open, well, let's get them out in the open, especially now that we get the report that Urban Meyer is trying to get into the NFL, back into coaching, and maybe to the NFL. First of all, I don't know if Urban Meyer would come here. I don't know if that's a fit. But the wheels are starting to turn here with the coaching carousel, and the Jets should get on that and be a part of it, at least publicly. Show who that you are going to be a major factor and player in this offseason, whenever Black Monday comes or whatever. I would start planting my flag with a couple of these guys because why not? And, yeah, you didn't need to wait to see what happened with the Browns game. You have plenty of cause to fire Gase. Just turn on the tape.